until this one, guys. Okay. 57. Oh. I want you guys to figure out 57 together. We're given information. We're given at 0. How does it go in the book? 0 and 1.
1, 3.
What are they? Is it F then G?
Yeah.
I'm given f of x, g of x, f prime of x, and then g prime of x. Okay, so give me, this is 0, 1, 1, 1.
5, 1/3.
Okay, what about these?
3.
Yes?
-4. -1/3. -8/3.
Okay. First thing it asks me is, what is the derivative of, it wants me to determine the derivative value of 5 f of x minus g of x. 5 f of x minus g of x, what is it, at x equals 1?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you take the derivative of 5 times some function minus some other function? Well, there's nothing to plug in yet. That's the thing. No, that'll just give you this new function value at 1. How do you take the derivative of this? Let me write this. What if this was 5x squared? This is the x squared function minus sine of x. And I wanted to know what the derivative of this was at x equals 1. What would you do? 5 times the derivative of this minus the derivative of this. Does that make sense? If it's just some function f of x and g of x and I don't know the specific function, 5 times the derivative of the f function minus the derivative of the g function. That is your derivative function for this thing, just like this is for this thing. Does that make sense? And if you wanted to evaluate the derivative at x equals 1, what can you do?
Find the function value at 1.
Yes, you plug in the 1. Does that make sense, you guys?
But your hand gesture doesn't make sense.
It makes perfect sense. We freed the problem. You plug in x is 1. Now I know what f prime of 1 is, and I know what g prime of 1 is. So what is f prime of 1? Point and 1. There's f prime. You see it? 5 times -1/3 minus g prime of 1. I see you here. 8/3. And what does that simplify to?
1.
Yes? And what do you get? You get 1. You get -5/3 plus 8/3 is 3/3, which is 1. Does that make sense, you guys? Ask your questions. So this is perfect. This is what we're going to quiz on tomorrow then?
No.
Great. Go label. What about f of x g cubed of x? Do it. What's the derivative of this?
3g.
Do it in your groups. How do you take the derivative of it? Well, overall, this is a product rule problem. Check it with the group. What do you think?
Not done.
What's that?
I'm not done.
Michael, what'd you get?
F prime of x, 3g prime x,
So we got a first one that f prime of x times what?
times 3g prime x.
Okay.
Is that what it's saying?
3g squared.
3g squared.
Let me ask
Oh
you.
yeah, I forgot about that part.
Okay. cubed x. Do it right now in your groups.
2x times 3.
And write it on the piece of paper. And right next to that, have this, because this is going to happen a lot. This looks perfect if there wasn't a product rule. But how do you break this up? How do you do product rule? X. What is the product rule?
First is the derivative of the first times the second plus the first times the derivative of the second.
So Jesus, write that out though. What's the derivative of this? X cubed times sine cubed x. Yes. This one, x squared times sine cubed x. 2x. That's it? 2x it is.
2x times sine the third.
First times the second. Plus the first. How do you take the derivative of this?
Chain rule.
You got a chain rule. What's the first thing you do?
Outside.
Outside it, what's the outside thing?
3x squared.
Outside is the cosine. This is the same as this. Bring the 3 down. Times.
Sine x.
Leave what's inside alone. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there? No one yet. Times sine x squared times
Cos x.
cos x. Yes?
Yeah.
This is all the derivative of the second. Bring the 3 down. Leave what's inside alone. Subtract 1. Times the derivative of what's inside. Okay? So, this being said, here's the derivative of this, the derivative of this, here's the derivatives. What's the derivative of this? You're doing it all together again.
It's f prime x
F prime x times
g third
the second plus
f
the first times the derivative of the second, which is what? 3. Do I touch this yet?
No.
Knock, knock, knock. No one home yet. Times g prime of x. Now you go in the door. There's your derivative. Calculate what it is at, what was this one asking? At x equals 0. Let me know what this is. What is that equal to? Just like the sign. But they write it there just so you don't think you're squaring the x before it goes in. Good question. Plug in your numbers. X equals 0. X equals 0.